What if I told you there's a way to upgrade your fragile human body to an 8-foot genetically enhanced war machine, and all you have to do is survive a soul-crushing gauntlet of death, implants, and brainwashing? Well, welcome to the world of the Space Marines in Warhammer 40k. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what it takes to become one of these towering warriors of the Imperium of Man. But first, what are Space Marines? Short answer, they're humanity's finest warriors in the Warhammer 40k universe. Genetically modified, fanatically loyal, and armed to the teeth, they're the Emperor's angels of death. They don't retire, they don't go home, they fight, they bleed, and if they're lucky, they die gloriously in battle. As a quick reminder, the Warhammer 40k universe isn't your typical sci-fi setting. It's not clean, hopeful, or full of shiny spaceships and peaceful alien alliances. Nope, it's a place where humanity is clinging to survival by its bloody fingernails, and everything wants to kill you. Aliens, demons, rogue machines, even your fellow humans. There's a phrase fans love to throw around, and it's not an exaggeration. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. In the middle of all this chaos is the Imperium of Man, a galaxy-spanning empire ruled by the Emperor of Mankind, a psychic powerhouse who's been sitting on a golden throne for over 10,000 years. He's basically a rotting corpse plugged into a machine, but he's still humanity's last hope, and Space Marines, they're his chosen warriors, his angels of death. Each group of Space Marines is part of a chapter, and each chapter belongs to a legion, each with their own traditions, colours, and combat styles. The Salamanders, the Fire Angels, the Carcharodons, there are 1,000 of them, and each one fights in its own brutal way. But their mission is the same: defend humanity, purge the unclean, and die with honour. So now, let's talk about how to become one. Becoming a Space Marine isn't something you apply for. There's no job boards, no interviews, no where do you see yourself in 5 years. It starts with being chosen, and the criteria are brutal. First off, you have to be a teenage boy, usually somewhere between 10 and 16 years old. That's the age when your body's still developing and can handle the intense physical and biological changes you're about to go through. But not just any kid makes the cut. The Imperium recruits from the harshest places imaginable: death worlds with acid rain and man-eating plants, hive cities filled with constant gang warfare, and feral tribes where survival means fighting every single day. If you've had a cozy life with 3 meals a day and a soft bed, sorry, you're not Space Marine material. If you're on one of these worlds, you might get noticed after a tribal competition, a gladiatorial deathmatch, or simply by catching the eye of a Space Marine scout during a planetary raid. Once you're picked, you're labelled an aspirant. They check if your DNA is compatible with the Space Marine's gene seed, which is basically the ancient biological material needed to kick off your transformation. Psychological tests follow, but they're not looking for charm or emotional intelligence. They want to see if you can suppress fear, obey orders without hesitation, and kill without flinching. Out of thousands of aspirants, only a tiny handful move on. The rest? Rejected, discarded, or dead. So, you've passed your initial screening. You're tough, you're compatible, and you haven't gone completely mad yet. Great. Now comes the part where they try their absolute hardest to break you. Every chapter has its own style when it comes to testing its recruits. You'll be dropped into brutal survival exercises, starved, hunted, and forced into lethal combat with your fellow aspirants. Some chapters throw you into pitch black caverns and force you to find your way out using nothing but your instincts. The Blood Angels are infamous for their psychological trials, traits tied to their gene seed flaws. The Imperial Fists might just lock you in a stone room for weeks, with no food or sleep, just to see how long your spirit holds out. These trials are designed to push your mind and body to the absolute limit. You're being watched every second for strength, endurance, aggression, but also for obedience and clarity of thought under pressure. They want warriors, yes, but ones that can follow orders and survive in the chaos of war. If you make it through all that, then congratulations. You've proven you're not just a survivor, you're a potential Space Marine. Time for the next step: brutal genetic modification, where your humanity gets upgraded. Over the course of your training, you'll be surgically implanted with a total of 19 specialised organs, known as gene seed implants. These things change your biology on a fundamental level, altering everything from your bones to your blood to your brain. Think of it like downloading superpowers, one painful surgery at a time. First up is the secondary heart. You now have 2 hearts. This lets you survive in lower oxygen environments, pump blood faster, and keep fighting even after taking massive damage. Then comes the os modular, which strengthens and elongates your bones. You literally grow taller, up to 8 feet in some cases. Then the biscopia, which boosts your muscle growth. Followed by the hemastamen, which tweaks your blood composition to better carry oxygen and fight toxins. And that's just the start. There's the Lyman's ear, which gives you perfect balance and immunity to dizziness. The catalepsian node lets you sleep in short micro naps so you're basically never tired. The omophagia lets you gain knowledge by eating raw flesh. Yeah, you heard that right. Eat the brain of your enemy, learn what they used to know. By the time they're done, your body is no longer human. You're faster, stronger, tougher, and more resilient than any natural-born man. You can breathe poison gas, you can spit acid. Some organs don't even have names that make sense. They just do wild things like make you immune to fear or let you survive without food or water for weeks. But none of this works without the gene seed. It's the genetic blueprint passed down from the Emperor himself, through the Primarchs to each chapter. Every implant is grown from it. It's sacred, and if your body rejects it, then game over. And while your body is evolving, so is your mind. You're being brainwashed, conditioned, and trained in every art of war imaginable. Alright, so now your body's been rebuilt from the ground up. You're taller, stronger, faster, and honestly kinda terrifying. But you also need a mind that can handle the horrors of endless war without flinching. That's where the psychological conditioning and combat training kick in, and it's just as brutal as everything else. From the moment those implants start settling in, you're thrown into a relentless regime of education and mental reshaping. You're not just learning how to shoot a bolter or swing a chainsword. You're memorizing battle doctrines, studying Xenos anatomy, learning how to operate tanks and drop pods, and drilling tactics pulled from 10,000 years of warfare. Your brain is literally being rewired. In some cases, knowledge is downloaded straight into your mind using hypno-indoctrination. But knowledge isn't the only thing getting jammed into your skull. You're also being conditioned to worship the Emperor, follow orders without hesitation, and suppress all weakness. Fear? Gone. Doubt? Deleted. Hesitation? Not even once. Your emotions are stripped down and rebuilt until only loyalty, hatred of the enemy, and a sense of duty remain. You're taught to see yourself not as a man, but as a weapon and a tool of the Emperor's will. Now that you're upgraded, you're on to live fire training. Oh wait, no, sorry about that. You'll now be dropped into real war zones alongside veteran space marines. No simulation, you fight, you survive, or you die. And if you fail to meet expectations, your battle brothers will not hesitate to leave you behind. Weakness is death. Hesitation is heresy. Eventually, if you make it through all of this, i.e. implants, trials, indoctrination, and combat, then you're granted the final symbol of your transformation, your power armor. That massive, iconic suit that is instantly recognizable to everyone in the galaxy. At this point, you're not a recruit anymore. You are a space marine. A full-fledged Astartes. But your journey doesn't end there. Not even close. As a new marine, your days are filled with constant combat. Whether you're on a planet-wide siege or hunting down heretics in the bowels of a space station, your entire life is centered around war. The Emperor's enemies are everywhere, and the Imperium needs you to purge them all. That means hours of daily drills, intense weapon training, and zero tolerance for failure. Life in the chapter isn't much better. As a space marine, you're part of an ancient brotherhood. You live, eat, and fight alongside your battle brothers. They are your family and your only family. And the bond is strong, almost mystical in its intensity. You're expected to follow your chapter's rules and traditions to the letter, with complete devotion until you die. Which may potentially be for a very long time, because as a space marine, you're essentially immortal. Well, sort of. Because of the genetic modifications, you don't age like normal humans. But that doesn't mean you live a life of ease. In fact, the longer you live, the more weight you carry on your shoulders. After decades, centuries, or even millennia of warfare, you might start to feel the emotional and mental toll. The constant death and the endless campaigns all get to you. There's a reason that some chapters, like the Black Templars or the Death Watch, are known for their, shall we say, more extreme personalities. Combat doesn't just change your body, it changes your mind too. But despite all the hardships, there's a certain honour in being a space marine. You're a guardian of mankind's last bastion in the universe, fighting for a cause greater than yourself. And the Emperor's light guides you through it all. Well, that is, if you don't fall to the temptations of chaos first. So what comes next? For sure, it's a life of constant warfare, leading squads and eventually entire chapters. For others, it might mean falling in battle, an honourable death, but still a death. Every Space Marine knows the risks, but that's the price of being humanity's ultimate weapon. And if you've survived this long, you've made it through the hardest parts. The rest? Well, that's up to you. The galaxy is vast, and the Emperor's enemies never rest. But that's the life of a Space Marine. Glory, honour, and unending war. Depending on the chapter you've been assigned to, you will have your own way of defining honour, and every Space Marine strives to embody that ideal. For some, that means becoming a legendary hero of the battlefield, leading squads or even entire chapters into victory. Becoming a chapter master, the leader of an entire Space Marine chapter, is the pinnacle of many Astartes' career, and with it comes great responsibility. You'll not only command warriors, but also make decisions that affect entire planetary systems. You're always hunting down the enemies of humanity, whether it's a Chaos Warband, an Orc War, or a Tyranid Hive fleet. Every fight is a chance to prove your worth, to fulfill your oath, and to die gloriously in the Emperor's service.